The Pokemon Nuzlocke community has grown massively over the past couple of years. We have Pro Nuzlocker Jan, aka Pokemon Challenges, to thank for the surge in interest for players to partake on the non-popular Hardcore Nuzlocke rule set almost daily. On the other hand, the massive spike of Hardcore Nuzlocke team runs on the platform can most likely be derived from another amazing Nuzlocker, Flygon HG. With runs such as Smurgles Only or the famously memeable run, Diamond Fire Types Only, many other YouTubers have taken their part in creating vigorously insane amounts of challenge runs for a multitude of games in the Pokemon franchise. The community has grown to a point where coming up with unique challenge runs can be very scarce. But that doesn't mean new ways to Nuzlocke a game cannot be found. I started a Hardcore Nuzlocke Gen Sweep in January 2022, which so far has only seen the culmination of my Pokemon LEAFGREEN Hardcore Nuzlocke. Nothing too special about that one, except that I almost literally lost my hair near the end of it. The next game I will be playing will be Pokemon SoulSilver with the standard Hardcore Nuzlocke rule set. But I will be limiting myself to a specific set of encounters that you can only obtain through one method: fishing. Pokemon SoulSilver actually has 13 possible encounters that you can obtain through fishing. 14 if you count Poliwag's second evolution as a separate encounter. But we'll touch on that later. With Johto's abundant Pokédex and a huge amount of water types, you could technically call this a water type only run. If it weren't for Pokemon like Dratini, which you can actually obtain through fishing, but we'll get to that later. So without keeping you any further, here's my attempt, or attempts, at a fishing only Hardcore Nuzlocke. Let's see what took the bait. But boy oh boy, did I know what I was getting myself into. The early game of this run is the most intensive experience so far in a Hardcore Nuzlocke, with the main reason behind this being our starter Pokemon choice. I hosted a poll on YouTube asking which of the following 5 Pokemon would be a good choice for my starter. Many were quick to support the idea of a meme star with Magikarp being the main Pokemon. However, this didn't turn out so well. I secretly hosted an experimental attempt using Magikarp. By doing this, I found out that the only way to actually make progress is to slowly drain your PP to 0 and then struggle against the opponent and hope that you do not die. I'm not going to keep you here any longer though. Doing this with Magikarp is just beyond impossible for me. I can think of only one way this works, and it is through overleveling and extreme RNG luck. So sadly, the meme run of this attempt dies here. But not all hope is lost, as upon figuring this out, I hosted a second poll with the remaining 4 options of the previous poll, with Poliwag taking first place as the people's chosen hero in this reeling adventure. But man, this poor thing is going to suffer to the moon and back. See, in SoulSilver, you cannot obtain a fishing rod until after beating the first gym. This means you're stuck with only one encounter until you defeat Faulkner and traverse down Route 32 to obtain the old rod. So little old Tadpole here is going to try and fail until you succeed phase of this run. Starting with Sprout Tower. This place is literal RNG hell. All trainers in this tower have Bellsprout with super effective Vine Whip that can badly damage Tadpole here if we're not careful. Since there is no access to healing items during battle, I have to rely on the RNG gods to 1. Allow me to land Hypnosis at 60% accuracy, 2. For the Bellsprout to not wake up, and 3. For me to take them out with good water gun damage rolls. We actually lost attempts 1 through 4 trying to survive this tower, not to mention the final boss has a Hoot with Insomnia, so he cannot be put to sleep, requiring perfect landing of Hypnosis on the Bellsprout and taking them out quickly before they wake up. On attempt number 5, we actually managed to defeat the Elder and we proceed to Faulkner's gym. One thing I should mention is that the damage you can deal to the Bellsprout with Water Gun is very limited and requires you to either get super lucky or get a good nature with Poliwag. Seeing as I got neither of those, the level cap for this section of the game was raised by 1 level, just for the sake of my mentality. It does not give us any advantage though, so I think it's fair to mess with the game for a change. Faulkner is another battle that requires close to perfect RNG in order to defeat him. His PG loves to stun attack to make my accuracy even worse than it is, and his illegal Pidgeotto likes to heal up with Roost very often. Attempt 5 actually sees us winning this match and we are able to proceed to obtain more members for our party. After carefully proceeding through Route 32, I speak to a random fisherman at the Pokemon Center and obtain our first rod. I fish off a Magikarp in Route 32, which I named Dragon. On Route 31, I could technically fish up a second Poliwag, but ended up deciding against it for the time being. In Cherry Grove City, I am guaranteed a Krabby, so I grab that bad boy by the pincers and call it Spider. Back home at New Bark Town, I fish up for a Tentacle, which I call Jelly. With a team of 4, we proceed towards Union Cave, where I can actually get another member. After some elaborate reeling, we fish up Koi the Goldeen. The team is looking very nice, and it feels like I could be forgetting something of importance here, but it's probably nothing. We take care of Team Rocket at the Slowpoke well, and after cleaning house with Azalea's Town's gym, it is time to face the bug menace, Bugsy. I lead with Spider since he has immense physical attack and set up my defense with Harden. Spider counters with a leer as I harden up again. Fun fact, I was so incredibly dumb during this fight that I forgot Harden only increases defense by 1 stage, not 2. Cider eventually goes for a U-turn that leaves Spider on the red as Metapod is sent in. I bring in Koi, who easily deals with the Metapod as Cider comes back in. I peck into a Water Pulse as Cider uses Focus Energy into a U-turn that didn't crit, but still dealt a good amount of damage to Koi. My second dumb assumption during this fight was that Jelly could get away with setting up Toxic Spikes to poison the Cider, which is completely not how that move works because Cider is a flying type, meaning he's unaffected by the spikes. So Jelly just constricts away at the Kakuna that got switched in after taking a fourth of her HP. No point in keeping you here any longer because there is literally nothing that we can do against this flying mantis before it bashes our faces with U-turn. So unfortunately, and very stupidly, I lose attempt number 5. What follows is almost a dozen and a half attempts tying to either the Sprout Tower or Faulkner RNG, with attempt 14 time for a second for this run. But did I mention how hard-headed and determined I can become after failing so miserably? Well, watch this. Attempt 22 starts out as normal. First we survive the RNG at the tower, then Faulkner's stupid birds. We then fish up our encounters, getting everything we got before, except for one addition. Frog the Poliwag. You may have been asking yourself what I meant when I said Poliwag can count as 2 separate encounters. See, the thing with Dupe's Claws is that it is optional, and only meant to make your run more diverse. Because Poliwrath and Politoed can have vastly different move pools, although sharing most of them prior to evolving, I decided it wouldn't hurt to have a full party, seeing as we don't really get any more Pokemon until after defeating the 4th gym. I should mention, as long as you're getting encounters in areas you haven't gotten an encounter already, it is safe game. A major outbreak during this attempt is the fact that Rock Tomb is accessible at the Union Cave, so I slap that CD on Spider and he does whatever Spider can to eliminate the Cider menace for good. A side and totally optional advantage that you can take at this point of the game is the Shard Enthusiast in Violet City. He will trade shards for valuable berries that can be very useful throughout this run, pun intended. I will come back to this dude in a bit, but for now, we'll move on, and once we make it to Bugsy, we're going all in. And by going all in, I mean that Spider literally wrecks house here. 4 times effectiveness with a decent physical attacker is no joke, so that Cider goes bye-bye. This dude who is my rival doesn't prove too troublesome, but he does a little trolling, so respect for that. Never mind, this guy sucks. Jelly is unfortunately our first out of the run. Luckily there's a second route which can fish for Tentacle, but it won't be available until much later. So up next is Whitney. I lead the battle with Tadpole and it's time for Clefairy's nap time. I switch to Koi to lower her defense 3 times before she copies my Tail Whip with Mimic. I then bring Frog into battle to remind Clefairy of her second nap time. Spider comes out and his Team Sun wakes up the Clefairy, who just lowers our defense. I harden till I can't no more, and with a bit of luck, Clefairy goes down and out comes Giratina's favorite child, Miltank. Without much thinking and praying for no crits from his evil cow, Spider starts smashing rocks like a mad lad, breaking through his feelings towards the Miltank, earning us the 3rd batch. New level cap means new dragon. Also a pair of Poliwhirls, but first we need to deal with a few things. I stop by my favorite place in the Johto region, the Poketron. Interestingly enough, this is the only place you can obtain a Water Stone, but only on Wednesdays. And hey, look! It is Wednesday! So after extremely and arduous hours of grinding to become the top tier athletes of the region, we claim the prize and head out to Ecruteak City, but for some reason, the Kanto power plant has decided to stop providing electricity at Mori's gym. That or this guy is just into pitch black rooms. As I figure out what to do, one of my viewers, Crowboy2, made this awesome fan art of me and my favorite Pokemon, so thank you so much Crowboy, you're a good sport. I used the water stone we obtained at the Pokethlon to evolve Tadpole into an almighty Hippopotas. I followed my good friend Chacho, aka Jet Chacho, for assistance since he's an expert at dealing with dark places. Carefully watching my steps in the dark and letting Dragon munch on the evil spirits these grandmas kept sending my way, we face off against Johto's spookiest master, who literally just gets swept by Dragon's substitute plus bite, granting us the easiest batch so far. Arriving at Olivine City, we obtain a better fishing rod and use it to obtain a few more encounters. Coral the Corsola joins the party in Olivine, and we head to the top of the lighthouse for Jasmine to send us to an errand because poor Amphi is sick. On Route 41, I fish up a Chincho, which I nicknamed Angler, who in real life looks terrifying, and that's the last time I ever look up an anglerfish. Now in Signwood, I spot Yusin at a distance, but since he has an electrode and that's a little bit too scary for my team, he will just stand there forever. I attempt to fish up a Staryu but realize that only take the bait at nighttime, so we delay this encounter for now. Since Route 47 and the World Islands aren't accessible for morning encounters, I decide to take on Chuck. The battle commences and Dragon and Chuck's Prime exchange intimidates as I switch into Tadpole while the angry pig monkey increases his evasion. I go for a body slam expecting a focus punch, but I get hit by a rock slide that flinches. Wholesome RNG at play here. A few unlucky turns after and Tadpole is all tuckered out, so I switch back into Dragon, who takes a weak rock slide thanks to his Charty Berry, plus the attack drop. I decide to shoot for a possible Thunderbolt paralysis to no avail as we take more damage this turn. Primeape goes down after missing a rock slide and now Chuck brings out his Poliwrath. Dragon doesn't have the worst defense, so I stay in and launch a Thunderbolt against a Body Slam. Since I'm out of range to get a crit, I switch to Spider, who ironically gets put into nap time. Of course I don't get the first to wake up like the AI in this game, so a Spider takes a focus punch. Looking at my damage, I switch to Dragon to lower Poliwrath's attack and leaving with a sliver of health. Coral has immense defense, so I bring her in to take a Body Slam. I tried to set up a Reflect, but the darn Poliwrath puts Coral until nap time. I then unfortunately switch back to Dragon, who intimidates for the last time before getting taken out by a focus punch. Good job, soldier. Angler comes out, Thunderbolting, getting us the victory at a massive loss of a valuable member, who just gets replaced by the Magikarp we fish up in Ecruteak City. So yeah, you have big shoes to fill. I realize Slowpoke Well has a Kingstroke that becomes accessible with Surf, so we fly back to Azalea on a random Pidgey. Frog puts on the crown like the queen she is and magically turns green because science. She also demonstrates her worth by slaying through Jasmine's teams like butter. We got our 5th and 6th gym batch here, and we can now head on to, wait a minute, the level cap. For price. Goes down? Yeah, my whole team is 1 level over the level cap. And not to mention the whole Team Rocket shenanigans are about to ensue, which 100% guarantee everyone will overlevel, even if I kept the level cap to 35, like it should have been. So, is this the end of the run? Do Tadpole and I get put back into RNG Purgatory with the Elder and Faulkner again? Not exactly. I decide to put my big boy pants and face my mistake. So the whole gang is unusable for the next gym. But there's one minor detail we forgot about. Koi. Koi went underused for both Chuck's and Jasmine's fights, so he's still way under Price's level cap, which gives us a lot of room to play for the next few battles. I now have access to Route 47, which means I could get another tentacle there. It is also now nighttime, so Staryu will spawn at Signwood. Carefully proceeding to the routes, I manage to catch Seaweed, Tentacle, and Star the Staryu. I get Koi and Seaweed to evolve, but because I already used my Water Stone on Poliwrath, and it is not Wednesday again, we don't get to Starmie just yet. This trio is my only hope at the run surviving, so I am putting a lot of tactic into the upcoming trainer battles. This also means watching the experience of my mons carefully so that I get to use all 3 for Price's gem, because we will need it. We visit the Lake of Rage to see what the fuss is all about this red Gyarados. Oh, cool. Okay, bye! Inside the Rocket headquarters, we ground the scary Electrode using Natural Gift, a move that deals physical damage for a specific type depending on the berry that the user holds. We follow the nefarious plans of Team Rocket with the help of Lance and his illegal Dragonite. Carefully battling the mandatory trainers at Price's Gym, it's all up to the Nuzlocke rescue squad to save the day. I leave with Seaweed to release the toxic spikes onto the arena, while Seal just sets up Hell, which funnily enough, damages himself. Star comes in equipped with the choice specs to launch a boosted Thunderbolt for taking out the baby Seal. Piloswine fails for my poison trap and I switch back into Koi, taking a mud bomb to the face. Koi sets up an Aquaring, which doesn't matter as the Piloswine casually just brings back the kill. Koi doesn't take too kindly and after getting some solid snow on his eyes, fires up a couple Surf, taking down the Piloswine. Now comes out the Dugong, who also gets poisoned. I stall a turn with Protect to let the poison do its thing, but eventually my efforts doesn't matter as the Papa Seal recovers his health with a nap. I take my shot here, bringing back the beloved Star to electrify this battle. Dugong snores loudly, but Star doesn't take kind to this and shocks the big Seal, earning us the badge and saving the run. What a trio of legends. With the party back together, it is time to beat the ever-living remaining Rocket Crab at Goldenrod, which isn't really a problem, so I'll let the montage show off the important battles. GG's Archer, you will never be Giovanni. We got a few more things to do before taking on Claire. My good friend Dialga kindly sends me ahead in time to a week later so I can get a second Water Stone, which I give to Star. I then spend a good time throwing bait at the pond in Route 42 to catch a Remoraid, which I call Octo. My good friend and sometimes rival JBR from JBR channel challenges me to a randomized Pokemon match, which I never back down from. But to put the stakes higher, if I win, I get to kill one of his future Nuzlocke encounters. If he wins, I'm forced to fight Claire with only 5 Pokemon, which it isn't too bad, but it's still a very poor choice for me to agree to do this. But I'm a Pokemon master. There's no way I lose to, oh god. He actually beat me. Again! And it was a very close match too. Oh, Wailord. Time to fight Claire with a party of 5 because I am a man of my word. I leave with Star because it knows how to shine bright in battle. Thunderbolt takes out the Gyarados and Ice Beam makes quick work of the Dragonair. I then switch out on the second Dragonair to Frog, who takes out the Dragonair with 2 Ice Beams. Claire brings in her Kingdra, to which I protect in case it goes for Dragon Pulse, which she does. Second turn I risk the Wide Lance accuracy boosted Hypnosis, which lands after we take some damage from another Dragon Pulse. Viper comes in to drop Kingdra's attack and sets up a substitute. I hit a couple of Ice Fangs as Kingdra remains asleep. After seeing the health bar reach a good range, I go for a Haban Berry Dragon type Natural Gift, which leaves Kingdra under red. But then Viper strikes back with a critical hit Ice Fang, winning us the match using only 3 out of the 5 mons I brought into battle. Take that, JVR. But of course, Claire can't admit she lost to a mere fisherman, so she goes to complain to her grandpa. We prove our word by passing the exam and we obtain our final badge. The Dragon's Den is home to the fishable Dratini, however, Dragonite is unobtainable because of the current level cap, so I decide to skip this encounter. Now, we have 8 badges, everything is going so well, but this next part, oh my god, just listen. We are now the typical get the legendary Pokemon part of the game. I stupidly travel to the World Islands where not even using Flash will make it any brighter. This place is full on darkness for me, so I look up a map using the Pokegear to make it to where I need to go. I can hear Chacho laughing somewhere within the space-time continuum for some reason. And funny thing is, there is no one when I arrive to Lugia's chamber, because I forgot to battle the Kimono Girls. So we fly back to Ecruteak City to face against the 5 kimono girls back to back. But up first is Umbreon, who proves to be a huge pain in the bait, as he badly damages Spider and Angler thanks to horrible RNG. Viper manages to take him out, but he already damaged our team too much. Espeon is next, and I attempt to put it to sleep with Frog, but I miss and get hit by a Psychic. Another Psychic brings my health down a lot as Frog lands a Mud Shot, dropping Espeon's speed. I bring out Star, who takes a Psychic and a Swift as I set up a light screen to boost my special defense for a few turns. I then use Recover while we're hit by a weakened Psychic. 2 Thunderbolts later, and we take out the Espeon. Flareon is next, who immediately burns Coral as I switch her in. The main thing this AI will try to go for is use up all 3 of their moves to then go into Last Resort, a very strong normal type attack. Taking advantage of this, I set up an Aqua Ring as I get hit by a Quick Attack. Flareon attempts to shoot a Fire Blast but misses as I set up a light screen again. I switch into Star, which prompts Coral's natural cure to get rid of her burn. Flareon lands the Fire Blast, which now allows him to use the Last Resort. I do forget to teach Star Surf back, so I just go for a Recover to get my health back, which ends up with Flareon using Last Resort to take back what I just recovered. So I switch into Coral, who can easily take on Flareon, taking damage from another Last Resort. Not sure why I just didn't do this from the beginning. Up next is our worst possible opponent for this team, Jolteon. I stall a turn with Protect to confirm the AI will go for the kill with Thunderbolt. With my entire team crippled from the previous fight, it is time to make sacrifices. Spider is sent out so that we can get a clean switch into Coral, who manages to tank a Thunderbolt thanks to the Wakam Berry she was holding. With the light screen up, Coral sadly has to be sacrificed here after putting her best to her few battles. It will not be forgotten. I send in Frog, who is at the risk of getting crit here, but I don't really have many options. Jolteon outspeeds with a Thunderbolt, which slowly empties Frog's health bar. But thanks to her high special defense and Coral setting up the light screen, she survives with a mere 1 HP. RNG finally is on my side as I land the Hypnosis, 2 Mud Shots, without the Jolteon waking up. And thanks to the speed drops, Frog is able to outspeed with Ice Beam, granting us the victory against our biggest threat so far. The last battle is against Vaporeon, who should be pretty easy since it's the same type as our Pokemon, right? Well, this thing is very bulky. So I switch Star, taking a Quick Attack since Vaporeon saw the kill on Frog. I then go for a Thunderbolt as the Vaporeon hits me with an Aura Beam. Then go for another Recover here since my health is getting lower. Oh wait, never mind, I don't do that. I go for another Thunderbolt, which leaves Vaporeon with what seems to be 1 HP. Star was also left with very low health, so I go for the switch here. Oh wait, I don't! I got so excited for making it out alive that I forgot Vaporeon had Quick Attack. This is one of the saddest Nuzlocke losses I've ever experienced. Probably the most shameful too. But lamenting won't win the run, so I bitterly send in Viper to end the battle. I put down my fish buddies in the sushi box and set out to the World Islands once more. I catch a horsey here in the dark, which I call Horse. I painfully make my way through the dark depths of the World Islands to find Lugia being awakened by the Kimono Girls. I am forced to face the mighty Lord of the Sea, but I got better things to do, so screw that, I'm out of here. With that out of the way, we now set out to the Indigo Plateau to challenge the Elite Four. At this moment, I make my now traditional El Nato guarantee, which states that if I don't beat the Elite Four and become the champion in the 2 hours remaining, I will shave my growing beard. Speaking of hairy places, did you know that Manscaped— oh wait. On my way to the Victory Road, I catch a Shelder in Route 27, who I originally called Shell, but later changed his name to Clam, per someone's request. I avoid as many trainers as I can, except for the ones with electric type Pokemon for some reason. Taking care of the last remaining trainers, we make it to the entrance of the Victory Road, which is very empty since all this region offers is a very weird leveling system for its trainers, so of course there wouldn't be anybody here. We say GG's to our rival Shiny Sea one last time, and we proceed to arduously train for the battles against the Elite Four. After much consideration, the final team consists of the following members: Frog the Politoed, Viper the Gyarados, Angler the Lantern, Octo the Octillery, Horse the Kingdra, and Clam the Cloyster. It was a very tough choice to decide who to bring to this fight, Tadpole was our starter and was there for a good amount of important fights. Koi got us through a lot of harsh situations and even saved the run alongside Seaweed and the now dead Star. But I was confident in my choices and the clock was ticking, so we entered the point of no return. Will was up first with his Psychic types. Since our Pokemon are higher level, you would think that this fight will be on our favor, and probably an easy one at best. You're wrong. My plan was leading with Viper to set up a substitute Dragon Dance sweep, but Satu's insane Psychic hits like a truck, taking out our substitute. I then go for a D-Dance, but we get hit by another Psychic that lowers my special defense, so now it is very risky to stay in. Losing Viper here would guarantee so much struggle for the fight against Lance. But I decide to put my faith in Viper, who almost takes out the Satu, as we get hit by a Psychic that lowers our health down to the red. This Satu has me first, a move that copies your opponent's attack and backfires it against you, so a switch here is the safe option. But Will just uses a full restore as I bring in the Frog. I attempt to use an Ice Beam, which Satu casually steals from me first and gets the freeze on me. Couple of Ice Beams from Satu and the Jinx is now out on the field after a U-turn. I finally thaw out but miss a Hypnosis, letting the Jinx leave me on low health. As I try to bring in Octo, I get hit by a critical of Psychic because why not? Things were not looking bright here, so I just let Octo die here to have a safe switch out. I bring in Angler to set up a stockpile, raising my special defense, and an Aqua Ring as I get hit by 2 Psychics. Jinx then lands a Sweet Kiss because why not? I do wake up the next turn thankfully, and Aqua Ring is helping me get my health back, but I'm still under scary territory. One critical hit could end it all. A couple more stockpiles and I start letting out my Thunderbolts. But then Jinx puts me to sleep again with a Sweet Kiss. Because why not? And she does it again after I manage to get yet another stockpile. Because why not? Angler gets tired of sleeping and takes out Jinx with a final Thunderbolt. Satu comes back in and knowing he has me first, I use Ice Beam instead of Thunderbolt to avoid neutral damage. Will goes for the U-turn here, bringing in Executor, who gets hit by a super effective Ice Beam. The Egghead tree goes down and Satu comes back in to get taken out by an Ice Beam. Slowbro is next, but he just curses at us, giving us an easy clap with Thunderbolt. The second Satu then comes in, but we take him out with a second Thunderbolt. Never will I ever underestimate this guy. Ever. Pun intended. Koga is up next, but as you can see, Viper is given pretty much the green light to sweep since Koga has a slightly defensive team. The guy who we don't talk about is next, and to no one's surprise gets swept by Viper. Moving on to the one who will definitely call the manager on you. She also gets swept by Viper. Wow, these guys are supposed to be stronger than Will and yet couldn't really do much against me. The final battle against Lance and his 3 illegal Dragonites approaches. I prepare my team and we walk up the stairs to face our last challenge. Holding my fishing rod tightly with about 5 or so minutes before it's shaving time. Can I, a casual fisherman, take over the champion's title? Absolutely yes. Once we managed to set up the original substitute Dragon Dance Gyarados, it was game over for Lance. Viper is such a clown that I decide to give Lance a shot here by switching into every team member that is alive. Rippy Dippy Octo. Funnily enough, Charizard was the Pokemon that almost ended my LEAFGREEN hardcore Nuzlocke. So in a sense, we claim victory by throwing away my guaranteed win and basically mocking this Charizard. Things like this are why I'm the casual Nuzlocker, simply because I don't give a fuck. Oh man, what a journey. I will admit that the RNG was brutal for this run, but I had an extremely fun time. Ups and downs come and go with every Nuzlocke, and this was not the exception. It took 22 attempts, but it was all worth it in the end. I plan to do more hardcore Nuzlockes like this in the future as I continue my gen sweep. The Pokemon Emerald Dungeon only being next on my list. If you had a good time watching this video and would like to stay tuned for the next one, subscribe and drop a like, as that would greatly help support the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Catch you later.